Howdy, howdy, howdy. Oh, I was hoping the lo-fi would give us a good little like beat into it or something like that.
Yeah.
But alas, we try to throw y'all off in a minute and a half instead of our 2 minutes. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel, and welcome back to Stargate Outpost.
Yeah.
How you doing, Sarah?
I am doing good.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
We are continuing the best recurring characters across Stargate. Last time, of course, we did SG1, and since that has 10 seasons, a couple extra movies around it and such, it was definitely its own video. SGA is quite literally half that, and SGU has quite literally less than half of that. So we are combining the two today. And just talking, best recurring characters throughout Stargate. And our little caveat, of course, because we all wanted Walter to do well last time. He's on our thumbnail, and he's the man. But nonetheless, he was a regular character that was in every single episode of the series. So he could not be technically, howdy Stephanie. He couldn't technically, I guess, be a recurring character because he was a series regular at that time. So that's the little caveat that we have. Like, okay, if they're a regular, they're there in every single episode, even if they're not like a heavy hitter, they're still there every time. So they're paid like that, so on and so forth. We're looking for the recurring characters. But as we were talking about and figuring out right before this, SGA has a few recurring characters that start off as series regulars, like Weir, like Rainbow Sun Franks. There we go. Ford, Aiden Ford there, and then who else was I just thinking of? Oh, Beckett. We were just talking about Beckett, of course. So those three kind of start off as regulars and then find their way into the recurring kind of character, area. And then Daniel and Sam and people like that. Well, Sam starts off as a recurring character and becomes an actual regular. And same thing with Woolsey and a few others. So let's decipher who the best SGA recurring character is.
Right.
Cronus is already chiming in here, and I love the little Fallout thing in there. Best SGA recurring character. Todd.
Yeah.
Y'all know I love Todd.
He's on the list. Sure.
Heyerdahl. Christopher Heyerdahl. We're gonna remember that name forevermore. I really dislike that Traveler girl who was a jerk to Shepard. Oh, was that the? Are we talking about Laren, the pirate girl, or are we talking about the little girl?
No, I think Laren is who's talking about the.
Okay.
Which you kind of wish that they had more of a relationship because I kind of like. I mean, she was a jerk to him, but it was kind of like that was sort of their.
That flirtatious
kind of played with each other like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great episode. I love Aaron. Laren and Eris Bach, please. Give us more. They're just hinting at all the cool bounty hunter stuff, all the cool piratey stuff they have. And we never got any.
It seems like they could have done more with those Traveler people. I mean, they did, bring them back later and stuff, and it was cool, but it would have been fun to get a little more of that.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
David, we were thinking the same thing. Oh, Gene Miller.
Mrs. Miller.
Because Michael, our buddy Lamplight or Last Light, there we go.
You remembered.
I think I've said the joke too many times. The only thing I won't remember is housekeeping, and I have to remember. I have to say it out loud while I remember it right now. 20 seconds, like literally half a minute after we got off, I was just scrolling through trying to figure it out. I was like, okay, it's a housekeeping.
Anyway.
That cracked me up. But yeah. Chad, who we're thinking? Gene Miller's great. Obviously, Todd and Michael are there. Teal'c. Out of recurring characters, as they are recurring characters, do we prefer Teal'c, Jack, Daniel, or Sam's recurring character, I guess, ability to come on SGA? Because Teal'c is great with obviously Ronan and stuff. Sam
Yeah,
just looks a lot of ways.
yeah. You had to do an episode with Teal'c and Ronan together. It was just you had to do it. Yeah.
It was perfect.
Jack. I think Jack has the best recurring, because he comes in, in the opening ceremony, but then there's that other one too where he ends up having to go underwater to do something. I forget what it was, but that was like good episodes. So, and does he come back again after that? I don't remember. But anyway, I think he had the best coming back as like the original SG1 person.
Okay, because honestly, I kind of lean towards Daniel just because he just feels like you feel the oozing of the want to be on Atlantis. He's like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. Like it's great.
Yeah.
But Jack.
Well, if we get into doing like favorite scenes, that's one of mine of Daniel. Like, well, I could just go to, and Jack's like, no.
Which is cool that he's legitimately, I guess, too valuable to send over there.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's a question we might have to ask ourselves really quickly. Little rabbit hole real quick. Would Daniel be technically more vital to the Stargate program at that point than even like Sam would be? Because they're both extremely freaking vital, but at that point, is Daniel truly like? Obviously, Sam's just an expert in space and in physics, all these other different fields, but Daniel is the Stargate expert, ancient expert on all of the languages, all these different species. He's the person that communicates with new species.
Yes.
Is he more valuable at this point? Or would that, I guess, kind of be like one's science and one's cultural?
Yeah, I think one's science, one's cultural. And Sam also she's a member of the military. So I think that puts her a little bit above Daniel in terms of like running that kind of thing.
Or would it not? Because of the whole, especially when we get to SGA territory.
Yeah. They're they're sort of two sides of the same coin. Like you kind of need both of them, because you're kind of out there in this other galaxy. You need somebody that understands the science and stuff really well, which I guess McKay does that also. But, but you need you're meeting new species and new races, and you need to have that kind of language, diplomatic, understanding cultures kind of thing too.
Okay, Sam and Rodney often played. Stephanie also said, "I love the episode with Daniel and Rodney when they were captured. Michael played off David so well." And Sam and Rodney often played the same role. Daniel and Weir had similar roles, but Daniel's experiences off-world really set him apart. I'm kind of thinking that same thing because we have kind of touched on it, where Jack is definitely your super consistent character throughout all 10 seasons.
Yes.
Daniel is, by and large, the default main character of Stargate.
I think so too.
Do you think that might be? Do you think them kind of saying, almost differentiating that with Sam and him, and saying like, yeah, Sam has the time to go do that. You're not allowed to go do that. Is that almost solidifying? He's just a little bit like, not rank wise, because obviously not military, but
right.
Do you think that's them almost kind of keeping that main character kind of energy or whatever, I guess, to some degree?
Yeah.
Oh, David. Oh, good point. Just to bring us back to the recurring character aspect of today.
Yep.
Colonel Marshall in the first two episodes, but it's Robert Patrick.
Yep.
Well, T2. So good.
Yeah.
Set the stage for 5 seasons of greatness. I do wish we could have seen him a little bit more somewhere. If we would have had him like an SG1.
Yeah, it was like, okay, let's get him. We can only afford to pay him to do 2 episodes, so we have to kill him off. But they still could have left it open. Maybe he would have come back. You never know.
Yeah, I guess.
But then it also puts Shepard in charge, basically.
Very much so.
Him dying. So you kind of need that.
Yeah. And almost I would have liked something like SG1 prior to SGA to kind of introduce him. It would have been fun to have him introduced in the same episode or episodes, I guess, because we have 2 Weir episodes before we get to Atlantis. With the other actress, I don't remember her name off the top of my head.
Yeah. Was it 2 episodes or just 1 that other actress did? I thought maybe
I think it was.
As I know, Weir comes back. Weir does come back in an SG1 episode, but it might be after Atlantis already started.
I think so.
Yeah.
When they're trying to do like
are they investigating or they're looking into funding it or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, we always say it, but it's always good for a Stargate rewatch because good look. So many details.
Lots of details.
Marshall's great.
Obviously, I haven't said yet either, but
yeah, Kolya and Caldwell are 2 that I think have to be in the running for being pretty big there. Yeah, Weir was in an SG1 episode with blonde hair. Was it just 1 though? Because I could have sworn she was at like the end of 1 episode, and then that kind of precursor to Atlantis was almost like her.
It was like the end of season 7,
6 or 7, something like that. Yeah. Well, yeah, it might have been 7 because 6 was still Jonas
coming back and all that. Yeah.
And 7, because 7 Atlantis and 7 and 8 were going to be the end of SG1, and then 9 and 10 were SGC, or were going to be.
Yeah, that's what they were thinking about doing, and then they didn't. Yeah. So
if only we lived in that timeline, we could have had another 15 years of Stargate, probably.
That's when it kind of became Starscape.
Yeah. And expanding. Little we don't see Cam or Vala or anybody like that pop into Atlantis at any time, I don't believe.
No, we don't.
Okay, she was in the last 2 episodes. Thank you, Stephanie. I could have sworn it was 2.
It must have been a 2-parter, I think.
That literally is probably it.
Yeah.
A nice happy medium, the little Goldilocks zone we're looking for. Speaking of, let's just go ahead and bring some of these characters up and we can start looking because obviously there's so many that we can kind of think about. Out of the few that do kind of become recurring characters like Beckett, Weir, and Ford, do we have a personal favorite out of those 3?
I don't know.
I'll be honest, that one's pretty easy for me. I love Beckett. Beckett's so good. I like Weir a whole bunch too, but Beckett just stands the test.
Yeah. I was going to go maybe with Ford because he has that interesting sort of where he goes kind of crazy and then he ends up kind of, leading this sort of Lost Boys group.
Which would have been fun to actually continue on with some more. I don't know why I guess I can see why they didn't, but also why not? Kolya and Caldwell, of course, the Jedi, and Colmini.
Yeah, what was his character's name? I was trying to find that. Anyway.
Anyone else just utterly infuriated with the Jedi? Yes.
They're kind of
Reddit. Let me just Google Colmini real quick.
Yeah.
SGA. Cowan, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah,
he was a good recurring character too, but
and George Hammond does recur on SGA a bit.
A couple times, but not really anything to write home about. Of course, Caldwell, Skinner, he's always Skinner to me, but from X-Files, Skinner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Genai, Russian government from another planet. Yeah,
basically.
Actually, Oh, Vala was in Atlantis when SG1 visited. Cam, Sam,
Oh,
and
right. Yeah. Yeah, that was when they realized that Morgan Le Fay or whatever her name is wasn't a hologram. I forgot about that episode. Yeah. Yep.
There we go.
I don't think Cam
Oh,
ever does.
which one?
I don't think Cam ever goes to Atlantis, though. I don't think so.
I vaguely remember him like almost having just a quippy line in the gate room and then leaving or something, but
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm just tossing that somewhere in a
Right.
memory bank or
I
what.
mean, maybe like the very first episode of Atlantis. He's in it.
Maybe
I
up
don't know if
there.
he ever actually went to Atlantis. You know,
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think he spends an episode.
Yeah.
Because one of the episodes, Daniel's there.
Mhm.
Amelia Banks, grr. um. Uh. Yeah, no, because it's just Daniel that's there on the episode where they have to, use their little walkie talkies and they're trying to figure out where the little like elevators keep transporting everybody to and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, God, yeah. The more I think about it, the more I need to go back and rewatch all of these shows every week. I'm like,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
much.
Mhm.
But we didn't say one of the best already.
Mhm.
Our pal,
Yep.
Jeannie Miller. I'm kidding. Lucius Levine, or good old Mike Dopud right there as well.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
He was literally in everything. He
Mhm.
might be multiple people in SG1 and SGA, but he'll always just be. Oh my god, I literally Varro. I was like, I know the name Varro to me. Go SGU.
Ah. Oh right. Yeah. And he and what's her name kind of had a thing. TJ, RJ or TJ? TJ, right? Yeah.
Well, TJ is SGU.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying you were talking about that actor. Like he's in SG. Isn't he in SGU? Weren't you just saying? Oh,
Varro. Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Varro's an SGU. Mike Dopud.
Yeah.
And him and TJ have that thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's what I was
Yeah. I pulled this up. I thought you were saying Cam for a second. I was like, did Cam go to SGU? My brain was struggling there.
It would have been interesting, maybe.
It would have been interesting. He
Oh,
would have
okay.
been brought some much needed levity there.
Yeah.
Actually, honestly, if Cam went to SGU, his depressive state kind of we've seen his apartment building, like
Mm-hmm.
literally it's just a bed, a desk, and a bunch of beer everywhere, right? Like it's
Oh,
pretty.
yeah.
It was saying he did not have a very good life outside of the military, so maybe that would be bad.
Mm. Yeah.
Huh. I believe Cam was there because Sheffield gave him an orange and said if he gets out of line, just give him this. Who's Sheffield?
Shepherd.
Oh,
A lemon. The lemon thing. Remember, he's like, is he really allergic to lemons, or is he just kind of weird about lemons? I mean, like
but that's
he
McKay,
thinks
isn't it?
he is, but
That's McKay, not Cam, right?
oh, now I'm like trying to remember. Now I kind of remember an orange, but was that just kind of playing off the whole lemon thing?
Yeah, I googled Cam Orange
Yeah.
SGA and nothing came up. Um.
Citrus
Oh,
fruit?
Shepard gives Cam
Yeah.
a lemon Atlantis to deal with Rodney. Okay, you're correlating. Thank you. We should have just read it ahead.
Yeah, that's what.
Thank you, Raven Black Sparrow. Honestly, McKay was allergic to citrus fruits. Shepard gave the lemon to Cam.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, we lost you. Uh-oh. Can you guys hear me, see me? Or am I the one that dropped out? Uh-oh. Oh, so I'm okay, and it's him, like, let's see, I don't even know what to do. Okay. Okay, let's see if he comes back in. I'll give it a minute. Oh, Harris's computer just crashed. Great. Anyway, what we were talking about, lemons and McKay. uh, all right, everybody, hang on a second. All right, I guess it's up to me. I've never done this before. I'm on my own. I have the power. Um, so what are some of your other favorite recurring characters, people? Talk to me. Silo. I do not know how to get these comments to appear on the screen. I have to have Harris teach me that. I don't know how to do it. Anyway, I really like Kolya. I think he's a really good recurring character. The actor, Robert Davi, is really good. And how can you not enjoy, Shepard yelling his name and raising his fists up in the air? Everybody likes that part, right? Uh, I'm just looking through the list here. Of course, Michael, we haven't even touched on Michael yet. And Todd. Todd is also a really good recurring character. Yeah, exactly. The Kolya. I like that. Dr. Kavanaugh. Yeah, he was good at being like the jerk. And, you can't really love anybody with a ponytail, right? No, Todd was very good. I liked that character was played very well, the kind of frenemy, and he'd be their friend and then he would hate them. And anyway, let me check in with I wonder if Harris is gonna be coming. Harris, are you coming back? What's going on? Anyway. He says he's trying. He's trying. He'll be on here. Okay, his Wi-Fi crapped out on him. Oh, this is not good. Okay. Well, since Harris is much better at this than I am. Anyway, what are the things that you guys liked about Todd? What are the things you liked about his character? I liked his duplicity. I liked that I liked how him and Shepard kind of created this sort of shaky alliance. Yeah, I think I've been abandoned. I don't know what to do. Harris hopefully will be joining us soon. He said he's going to jump on his phone if he has to. Here we go. Hey.
Trying to figure it out. I don't know what happened. Supposed to have this fancy new Wi-Fi.
Like trying to do this on my own, but I'm trying. You know.
And you were doing excellent so far.
We were kind of sort of thinking of like Todd and what we liked or didn't like about him, or at least that's what I was asking.
Everything.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, that works. Your phone, it looks fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of trying to figure out exactly how to function StreamYards from here. It's kind of fun. I don't know about fun, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I don't know how to. Well, maybe I don't have the power to do it, but to click on comments.
Yeah, technically, you don't from there. We'd have to get you to log in to StreamYard itself from our end, and that would be fun.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, Todd is, as we know, my favorite SGA character, probably outside of it's either Shepard or Todd, one of the two. But I love them. They're so good. Todd is terrible. Do you think Todd would be a good villain? Actually, do you think Todd, if he made his way to the Milky Way, do you think he'd be more of a villain, or do you think he would kind of continue working on befriending humanity to a degree, and maybe see also a villainy in the Goa'uld? I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say because he's, like I said, I was saying he's sort of duplicitous. You know what I mean? He kind of is almost like what side he takes depends on what is the best thing for himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he never really fully trusted the humans, right? Because when he found out, what was the deal with, they created a virus or something, and he got really pissed off about it and started attacking the humans. But
that was later on too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was in the later. Was that the final season? Maybe.
It was either 4th or 5th season, because that's whenever he comes back and actually starts being a little antagonistic again. Because he finds it out whenever they're on that big mission with him, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're going to fight. Who are they fighting against? I don't remember. They joined forces to. Was it Replicator?
No, it was other Wraith, because I guess it was more like to get Todd's specific party of Wraith, I guess, more power versus whatever whatever.
Oh, right. It was sort of like almost like a Civil War kind of situation where there's the Todd group and the other group. Yeah.
Well, it seems like there are multiple groups too, if I remember correctly. But that
and they don't
introduced us to that. Yeah. Oh, there's a big old fat squirrel right in my eyesight right there. Gonna eat all my food outside. My fruit trees, they're dangerous. Symbiotic Goa'uld regenerate in the coffin, and Wraith suck them almost dry, then regen again. Like, that's my thought process. Would that? I mean, we of course kind of played the little mind game of what would it be like if a Goa'uld were to jump inside of a Wraith. That would be kind of insane, first of all. But
yeah, would that work? But
if a Wraith or two found themselves, if we had a Todd find himself in the Milky Way, would that likeness, coerce a friendship, or would it kind of say, hey, you're my rival, and you know what? Enemy of my enemy is my friend. Once again, I already have a relationship with the humans. Don't love the Goa'uld. Let's fight them or befriend them, I guess.
Yeah. I could see the Goa'uld like wanting to get to him and trying to do the, take ownership over him, possess him, or however that symbiosis, like create that. And oops, echoey now.
There we go. Sorry, I was just exiting myself out of that one and coming back here.
Okay.
Looks like we're good.
The Goa'uld, I could see the Goa'uld maybe wanting to take over a wraith just for more power, and they're always trying to accumulate more other alien tech and advantages and things like that. So it might be a thing where I think Todd would be on the side of humans against the Gould, but I think the Gould would be really working hard to get Todd just for their own ends.
Yeah, I think the more we think about it, and definitely as you're saying that, the Gould would be. I mean, obviously, we did play with that little like thought process of what would a Gould do to a Wraith if they were able to get in there. But
right,
yeah, I don't think the Wraith would enjoy that. Even saying like, "Hey, yeah, we're all parasites, we're all buddies," but this parasite can still get in that parasite, and the Gould, I think, would try to do that probably 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I think they would want those ships too.
Remember
we saw? I don't know if we probably couldn't find it real quick, but when we had that chart that showed the size of the different ships and how like huge a hive ship is.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You saw that? Okay. Anyway, that's a cool chart about, to get the idea of like what we're talking about here. That was when we were talking about ships. That was the episode we were talking about ships. We used that. That's right.
There we go.
Yeah.
I had it saved. I was trying to be sarcastic.
Right.
But I didn't have a word yet.
Right. How huge the hive ship is. Like, dang.
And it's a living being.
Yeah.
Which is just also like arguably, I think one of the things we talked about was Atlantis isn't fitting through the Supergate, but could a hive ship? And if it did,
well, yeah, it depends on how wide it's probably. I mean, but I don't know. Unless it's like a really narrow and long, it could.
Yeah, if it like hit it just straight on, maybe.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if the ring in that is that to scale with the other stuff? I guess it is.
I think so. Yeah,
because Atlantis, like the hive ship is like bigger than Atlantis. It's kind of crazy. Well, I guess it wouldn't be maybe from the width, but it's bigger around
lengthwise. Yeah.
Just it's it's more of like a circle.
Well, now it makes a lot of sense. It makes even more sense why they were terrified when they had like 5 hive ships coming their way.
Oh yeah. It's hard to kind of from the show to really get a sense of what the scale of things is, and how like the Daedalus or whatever is just this tiny little thing.
Yeah, Todd takes over the Daedalus and it's like, oh yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just insane. And for the Ori frickin' ships who are insanely huge as well to just be dwarfed.
Yep.
Just dwarfed. Yeah, you can see how the ancients didn't necessarily stand a chance either if these are their 2 ships right
there. Yeah, is that one of those that they find it with the people in stasis or whatever? Yeah. Okay.
BC 304, 200 meters or 400 meters in length? Yes. It probably tells us. So 2 squares is 200 meters.
Okay.
Where's the BC04? Am I just blind and am I missing it? Whatever it is, it takes 2 squares. 2 squares equals 200.
Yeah.
Disney Gould World.
Yeah.
The hive would be a water park for a Gould symbiote. It really would, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Could it, then could the symbiote like take over the ship? Whatever. If it's a living ship, could it like connect with whatever the brain of the ship is? That would be wild. Yeah.
We need to make a video about that. What do I write down? Gould inhabit a hive ship. There we go.
Yeah.
My chicken scratched trying to just write it down.
Yeah.
Gould inhabit hive ship. Very great English right there.
Yeah.
Great grammar, great writing, all of the above.
Yeah.
Because that would be insanely interesting to watch play out. If
Yeah.
they try to take over a wraith or two, and maybe the wraith end up being too strong to actually control due to their dual brains. If the Gould figured out, while they have access to just any of that information, after they, I guess, are trying to inhabit a wraith, they could say, "Oh, I'm gonna go inhabit a hive ship." Maybe it doesn't have a dual brain because it wasn't part parasite, part human, and then put together.
Right.
It's probably the same hive ship they've had. So functionally, it should have a single brain. And if they do that, would the Gould have hive mind power and mentality over that dual brain for the wraiths anyway?
You kind of lost me a little bit.
Do you get that?
Really like the idea, yeah.
Because if the wraith are kind of not necessarily immune to the Gould, but they can kind of withstand a little bit more because they have that dual brain functionality.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
If they can withstand the Gould there, but the Gould, just trying to get inside of them, retain some information after they were in their head. Say, all right, well, hey, these hive ships only have one brain.
Right.
If they took over the hive ship, could they take over the hive mind, like the more powerful hive mind aspect to the wraith?
Yeah.
And then
what is like the hive mind? Like, how does that work? How do they, is it like brain? I mean, how are they connecting to have the hive in the first place?
Yeah.
If they could hijack that, then they could control the wraith to conquer the universe or whatever. And if the Gould have two brains, well, what if the symbiote just took over one? So they had like a shared.
Ooh. Well, at that point, it could take over the parasitic aspect of the brain or the human aspect of the brain. And if it takes over the parasitic, the human probably wouldn't have as much, whatever piece of humanity. I don't know, I guess the right way to, it'd have to be human because they turned Michael obviously into a human. There's enough human DNA in there where that aspect of them is still there. Would it be the weaker side so it could still control it? And if the Gould took over the human side, it might not be the control due to the parasite aspect of it. Was Keller turning into a hive, or was that just the early episode where she was just becoming?
Yeah, that was the seed. We named that like the worst episode of that season, I think.
But it brought us one of our favorite actresses on the show.
Yeah.
Cronus Stanley's. Okay, that's just, we've talked about all that. The worry was if a queen was taken over, but I don't think that the Gould would be able to handle it.
Yeah, the queen is a pretty strong mind, I guess. If she's so they're saying like the hive mind thing originates with her. She's
okay.
Like they're connected to her mind or her will or whatever somehow for her to control the hive. So I guess that would be, they would want to get a queen then, because the queen would allow them to have more control.
Yes. Also, my brain went to another little caveat for the Gould, maybe. If it was a fresh young Gould, it definitely wouldn't be able to, I guess, mess around with a bit of a hive mind or mess around with even like the dual brain aspect of the wraith, maybe.
Right.
But if it were an older Gould with a lot of genetic memory and literally maybe hundreds, if not thousands of lives worth of genetic memory, they already have a hive mind, essentially. They operate on a hive mind. So would a hive mind really not be too difficult for them to traverse? I mean, maybe not difficult, but it might give them an extra like step in the process of doing such. But would
Yeah, it
need
would
to
just be like, do
be
they have the bandwidth or whatever to handle that much
perfect word. Yeah.
information or power or whatever? Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean,
That's good.
I think I could see a Gould wanting to try to do it because they're power hungry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, because wasn't that it? Because yeah, Taylor wasn't, and I don't think Keller before she became Keller in the show was
Mhm.
becoming a hive. I guess she, if the queens run the hive mind, technically she was,
Mhm.
because they were both being turned into queens, I believe.
Mhm.
I, I said that out loud, and I just like was thinking like a drag brunch or something walks in, like all the queens walk in. I don't know. It's just, I've been in LA for a while. Uh, just brain fart that made me laugh
Mhm.
real quick.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. Just to
Mhm.
kind of explore those different avenues. If a ghoul
Mhm.
could take over a wraith and what that would actually entail. We've joked about it before and kind of
Mhm.
been like, that'd be cool. But
Right.
thinking about the nitty gritty, like, woo.
Yeah, the detail and like would it work for a show, I guess. But it would be an interesting thing to explore, I think. Probably will never see it, but hey, write your fan fiction now. Yeah.
Is that supposed to look like a Carmen San Diego? I'm so confused.
Yeah, I think so.
Carmen San Diego. Um, yeah, okay. So if we are going to solidify our favorite of the SGA recurring characters, would it be a Todd or a Michael or a Kolya or a Caldwell, or would it be a person that was part of the main cast or becomes part of the main cast and then kind of dissipates and becomes a recurring character one way or another, like a Woolsey
Um,
or a Sam or Weir or Beckett?
mhm,
Um, technically,
mhm.
I guess Ronan, the second he's introduced, he does stick with us. There's not like an episode or two in between from the runner stuff.
Right, I
Um,
mean, once he joins, he's a regular,
yeah,
so
he's there.
mhm. Yeah, and he didn't there wasn't anything with him before that, so uh,
The TV producer for the 200, the alien that got brainwashed. That's SG1 though, huh?
yeah.
Has to be Todd.
Yeah.
It is. It's for me. It's just Todd. It's Todd.
Mhm. Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
Kolya or
But Kolya's is right up there too, I think.
what was Meanie's character? And again, it was like Conway, something like that.
Cowan. I think I
Cowan. Thank you. I was close. No cigar
Yeah.
though.
Mhm.
Yeah. Out of SGA, Arnold, who are you thinking? Because yeah,
Mhm.
it's got to be Todd for me. Kolya's up there.
Mhm.
I do wish they
Michael,
would
of
have
course.
continued with Rainbow Sun Franks. Who?
Mm. Michael
Oh, Michael.
was
Yeah.
on that list too, yeah.
Kolya versus Todd.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd go Team Todd on that one, but Kolya might pull
Mhm.
something out. He's got something up his sleeves, always ready.
Yeah,
Slippery,
he's, tricky.
tricky bastard. We would call Kolya.
Mhm.
Todd also is succinctly a tricky bastard as well, though.
Mhm.
That's very true. Ooh,
Mhm.
make me make some Scooby Doo noises there, Stanley's. Obreth was
Yeah.
great, and he made Weir the recurring character again that she was and
Mhm.
became after just kind of dissipating from the main cast. Um, I trust Todd more than Kolya,
I
definitely.
do too.
Definitely.
Because at least they've, were, allied, where Kolya never he was always
There were once or twice where they kind of had to work with Kolya, right?
yeah, I think there was maybe
But it was very, very dicey.
yeah, it was like
Always
a
dicey with Todd too. But Todd's like Todd's the bad guy you can trust to do the bad guy things, and
mhm,
maybe he won't do the bad. If he does throw you off his scent, it's because he's going to do something good. instead.
Mhm.
Rokolia just that's yeah,
Mhm.
keyword had to.
Yep.
Oh, Stephanie, nice. Beckett as well. Beckett is right there with me. I'm right there with you. I think he's just because he was a regular, we got enough love for him.
Right.
I do have that shaggy look. Thank you, David. Beckett might be my third or fourth favorite recurring SGA at the end of the day, because they brought him back in a way where it was like, okay, we probably shouldn't have killed him off, but we
Right.
introduced a really cool new character in his stead, and we don't want to mess with her story arc or anything like that. So we
Right.
found a good way to fit him in there. And I think it made Michael's stuff more interesting. I think it made Beckett's stuff more interesting.
Mhm.
It
Oh yeah.
almost lit the match or the flare or the ignition for what was to come for seasons 4 and 5 and the rest of that, which was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good. So, yeah, he's a perfect sidekick. The actor, I don't remember his name off the top of my head. He's quippy and good with it too.
Mhm.
All
Paul
of that being
McGillian?
said, what was it?
Paul McGillian?
Yes, Paul McGillian, who does not have a Scottish
I don't know if I'm
accent,
saying that right.
but
Anyway, yeah.
sounds like he is Scottish with the name nonetheless.
Yeah.
Todd seems to be our SGA favorite.
Mhm. Yeah, I would agree. I think he is, yeah.
So, what about SGU?
This one's a
Only
lot
2
harder.
seasons in this one.
Yeah.
And we did kind of mention it where we might have to, give a little bit of leeway on the regular recurring stuff here, because it was just, oh my God, hold up. Before we even move forward, he was a series regular, but Zelenka was amazing. I guess he became a series regular. He didn't start off that way, so he still kind of fits in this list.
Yeah, I didn't mention him because I just thought of him as a regular.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like maybe not every single episode, but more than recurring.
Yeah, he at least was paid as a series regular in that sense.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Zelenka was the best,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we're with you.
Mm-hmm.
We all want more veneer.
Yeah,
More
the
as
veneer.
just don't kill off the coolest freaking species. Like,
Right.
anyway.
They could bring the veneer back because, the Asgard are gone and the veneer could fill that role. And maybe they're not, they're a little bit darker and more duplicitous kind of ally than the Asgard were.
That almost fits better for today's world landscape as well, in a lot of ways too.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. Say, hey, okay, well, you know what? Y'all have used our technology more in the way the veneer would have used it versus the way the Asgard probably wanted you to. So that makes us trust you a little bit more, and maybe something, which that could be kind of like friendly, like, we're your friends.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Thanks for all the Asgard technology that wasn't given to us on the way out,
Oh, yeah, a way to get, I mean, I could see that happening where they're more, they come off real friendly at first, and then you realize that they're really frenemies.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's how, maybe they steal the Asgard database.
Yeah, ooh, and that, I mean, obviously we would have things that we've re-engineered and things like that, but it wouldn't be everything, and we might not know where to look in some of the most important parts of the database. We still are probably trying to decipher what the hell's in there, just so we can figure out how to read 100% of it all.
Right. Yeah.
We don't have that. They just walk over there and start reading. I mean, and it might even be an interesting thing where, yes, Zelenka was a Russian mob boss in Arrow, and he did really well in there too. I just saw that as I was like cracking up.
He also was a Bond villain.
Really?
In one of the Timothy Dalton Bond movies.
I love Timothy Dalton Bond. He's my number 2 or 3. It depends. Ask me on what day. I'm thinking either Daniel Craig or Timothy Dalton for number 2. But oh my God, brain fart real quick. We were just going heavy. Oh, the veneer.
Database.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I feel like they could almost have that Lucian Alliance kind of feel of things, especially Lucian Alliance at the end of SG1, where it's like, we have to work together.
Right.
The second all this is done, we'll go our separate ways, but we have to work together or we're all dead kind of deal. And maybe not necessarily we're all dead, but for the sake of the survival of our species would be a really good way to get into Earth's head and get into the Tauri's head and say, hey, y'all are all for helping people, right?
Yeah.
Y'all are our cousins. Y'all were their best friends. Help us out. And then I could even see them not taking away any of the database, copying the database, and saying, yeah, we'll help you understand it better. And then not, saying, okay, you figure it out yourself. We got what we needed. We're out.
Right. And so maybe some of the Asgard technology we have becomes useless because they know how it works now.
Or or they could even negate it. Like they might know exactly how it works and say, well, we want to be the only people doing that. Y'all haven't figured out how to reverse engineer it yet. We've only been reverse engineering everything from the Asgard stuff the last millennia or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-oh. We lost you again. Oh,
really?
You froze for a second, so I was like, uh-oh.
We never know. I literally just got the nicest, fanciest Wi-Fi possible, and it just crapped out for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Thanks, internet. Spectrum, please be consistent.
You have Spectrum down there. We have Xfinity here. It's been like solid, never a problem. I mean, rarely.
So. Spectrum just it's nice right here. Well, I guess it's not nice right here, obviously, but it typically works fine. And they offer good deals and stuff and bundles for inside and outside, office and inside. I was like, all right, let's do it. But after earlier, yes, not much choice. SGU due to the nature of the storyline. Just wondering.
Almost everyone's recurring, but
so
I think Volkner and Brody could qualify as the recurring.
I'm with you. I think obviously Sam and Jack and Rodney would be recurring here, so those would be fun.
Yeah. Daniel too.
Which one?
Daniel.
Oh yeah, Daniel and Woolsey down here too.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't win this one,
Walter,
he's not a regular in SGU. Can't we have our man win? But no, I'm right there with you. I think Volker, Brody, Varro, even though he becomes kind of main cast at the end, and so did Volker and Brody.
Yeah.
I think there's enough to kind of let them say, all right, we'll be recurring. Yeah. But I don't think Lisa Park is a recurring character either. Or Greer.
Yeah, no, they're pretty much regulars. There's what's her name's girlfriend?
Yeah. Sharon Walker here.
Yeah.
Emily Young,
girlfriend,
Telford and Young's kind of back and forth. Ayana.
Yeah, Telford, I don't know. He's kind of. I guess technically he could be recurring, but to me, he feels like a regular cast member to me, even though he's not on the ship, really.
Well, throughout season 1, he still has a heavy-handed role.
Yeah.
Does Dr. Franklin count as a recurring character? Got stuck in the computer after sitting in the chair. I want to know more. Totally. Yeah, definitely. Yes. And she might be one of the better ones, realistically. Because the true recurring characters here would be Rodney, Jack, Sam, Daniel, Woolsey, Walter,
Jack.
Yeah. Emily and Sharon.
Right.
And I guess technically the commander for the Lucian Alliance crew too.
Yeah.
Except she does end up, of course,
Mm-hmm.
embodying more of the role later.
Yeah.
Because this, there we are, is the fandom's version of recurring universe characters here, and these are the 8 I think that definitely pop out. I would consider Vanessa James
oh yeah,
an
her
actual character.
Yeah.
Julia. And Varro becomes one as well, but I think these 6, and Jen is a really good one too. Jen's kind of Jen and who did you just mention there a minute ago? Dr. Franklin. I think both of them are pretty similar in their sense. Jen's awesome.
Yeah, I like her. She's Lucian Alliance, right? But she leaves or whatever.
And becomes friendly. Honestly, I know we joked about it, but I think my favorite recurring character in here is Walter. Because he's perfect. You don't see him much or anything, but like Jen was tragically short. It might be Jen. Jen would be maybe the more realistic for the show purposes, but for Stargate purposes, Walter is a really nice grounding of all the series in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Amanda Perry.
Oh yeah, she was a recurring. Yeah, I liked her too.
Who the hell is Dr. Franklin? Because that's exactly who I was thinking.
No, Dr. Franklin is that dude that like sits in, because remember they're like young as or I forget whoever, they're not supposed to sit in that chair that they think will control the destiny or whatever, and so Dr. Franklin, he decides himself to go sit in the chair to see how it works or test it out or whatever. He's willing to sacrifice himself, and then he ends up, what is it? Does he get like downloaded into the computer?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had to see his face to remember him.
Yeah.
Because he's essentially Amanda Perry before Amanda Perry.
Kind of, yeah.
Because that would mean both Dr. Franklin and Amanda Perry are intrinsically part of the Destiny now. Which, for the sake of going down a rabbit hole of conversation for a second, Arnold, David asked a fun little question earlier that was just wondering if we got a new Stargate series, what would be its full title? Arnold went and had a little fun with it, said SGU Next Generation. They never woke up. So the ship extracted their seed and grew the babies Matrix style.
Yeah.
That wouldn't necessarily be super believable if it weren't for Amanda Perry and Franklin in there. If that was the only way to save the rest of the Destiny crew and almost like clone them and age them up to a certain degree or something like that, I could see that be possible to some degree if the ship wasn't using a whole bunch of power elsewhere. And
maybe you could, I don't know, make having different actors or whatever work.
Yeah.
But
I don't remember the actor's name, but Chloe's dad, the senator, is a fantastic actor, and he was there for probably 3 episodes, 2 episodes, 3 episodes, and then kind of came back as a memory once or twice.
Yeah, Shooter McGavin, right?
Yeah. Which Happy Gilmore 2 is coming sooner than later, which is insane. I can't believe that's still happening. In episode 1 or 3, something he sat in Destiny's control chair and disappeared.
I guess downloading the ship. It's not really clear. It's like, again, it's those, all those loose threads of we never got in the end. We don't know what happened.
Well, yeah, and I guess we do have little inklings that feel like he was communicating, I believe. But we definitely get Amanda Perry like clearly communicating with Rush in the ship.
Yeah, they had, maybe it was because, Rush and her kind of had a connection like before, where Franklin wasn't really connected with anyone. So maybe maybe you need that connection to like communicate, and he just doesn't have it, and he's in the system figuring it out or something, because it'd be cool, like, if they bring the show back, to bring that back, like maybe Frank, they've been working the system or whatever and repairing the ship and keeping things going or whatever. It'd be just an interesting thing to explore.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, we all go back to Eli's the only one still there.
Hmm. But he's not really.
Yeah, there's two others just hanging.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or hanging, floating, flying, spacing, something.
Yeah, like now, like he's in communication with them, and they've really developed how it all works. They've figured out how it works and how to communicate with each other, and now it's like they're all working together.
That may allow a little leeway for them to say, hey, Eli, you focus on keeping everybody alive right now.
Hmm.
You focus on flying the ship as well.
Hmm.
That will allow Franklin and Perry, if he's able to communicate, and if
Right.
he's able to communicate with Perry, why couldn't Perry at least communicate with Franklin for him or something like that? They'd have to be somewhere in that,
Yeah. Hmm.
State. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
But they could, at that point, almost give Eli his duties and say, all right, you keep everything functioning. We're going to go explore the rest of the ship and turn things on that haven't been turned on.
Right.
Or we're going to go do something like that. And that would be a safe way for them to explore the ship without, killing off people or her.
Right. Or go in parts that are, exposed to space or whatever. Or maybe they could get the robot, those repair robots going.
D&Ds.
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
Give them their DNA
repairing the ship as it's traveling through space. It's being repaired, being repaired, being repaired. But they have to keep flying through stars or whatever to keep that going. But
yeah, I mean, if they were, was there something like a D&D on there? There were little like repair arms and stuff, weren't there?
yeah, there was only like 2 of them. So I wonder if they would be able to find the resources to build, have the ship build more of those robots and have like a bunch of them working on the ship.
I mean, is their soul still alive? Is their soul dead? Are they still all of these questions are just kind of, things that we've asked in the past and stuff, but are pertinent in the sense of it is ancestry. I was about to say ancestry.com. No, ancient technology, and ancients are obviously obsessed with ascension, and if they're part of the computer on the ship, they totally didn't ascend, but maybe they're somewhere in between, and I don't know exactly how to correlate that to the thought I'm having, but like ghosts in movies and in the world and whatever, supposedly, I'd love to say ghosts are real, but I think I have benevolent house ghosts. I'm not positive or not, but we think so. I'm not the right person to say whether ghosts are or not real. But like the idea of ghosts has always kind of been they can inhabit technology. Could the souls of Franklin and Perry almost do something similar and inhabit those repair robots and take them across the ship to do things with?
But it's instead of it being so sort of like supernatural, it's more like, we're energy, our being, and somehow their energy was transferred to these computers. Or maybe even, I wonder if the Destiny has an AI that hasn't been discovered. Would be interesting.
Well, didn't they dislike AI? The ancients stopped using AI, didn't they?
Yeah.
But also, Traveler bringing up a good point. I think they were downloaded to the system and they had full control over the systems. I believe. Yes. But instead of the soul aspect of things, especially as Neuralink becomes like a thing, and we put little chips in people's heads and stuff.
Yeah.
Michio Kaku, I think he's Japanese, but I'm pretty sure he's Japanese. The Japanese physics physician, what doctorate in physics, big fancy guy over there.
I think I know who you're talking about. I'd have to see a
Yeah,
picture.
he's kind of got almost the Albert Einstein kind of hair in a way,
Mhm.
not actually, but almost like Japanese Einstein and like my the way I think of him, you know. He is one big thing that he likes to talk about is digitizing the human consciousness and saying, hey, if you have someone sitting here and you're able to digitize their consciousness, you can use a laser to transport that consciousness, say, to the moon. And now you can put that little consciousness in a robot on the moon and you can go work on the moon for a little bit. And that might be something we get to in the next so on 100 years, 200 years, millennia,
Right.
so on and so forth. An experimental physicist. Thank you. Yeah, because what I'm talking about is experimental physics for damn sure.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of that soul, like the ancients were really focused on, maybe it was more of that digitized consciousness, and that technically would keep their soul alive, so they could still ascend. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just adding extra crazy thoughts into an already crazy thought, but
yeah. Well, that's what the Atlantean replicators, whatever, I forget their name anyway, were trying to do, right? That's what they wanted to do. And whether or not they could was kind of a question, wasn't it?
yeah, that is true. Destiny did communicate with him in dreams, but that was more Amanda Perry, not Destiny, right?
I don't remember.
Or was that before Amanda Perry? Was that season
Or do
1?
they never make it really clear? maybe
Probably
it's
more
some combination of those things, like, I don't know.
Ooh. Every time we start getting nitty gritty, I'm just like, there's just so much good stuff to explore. Bring it back, please. Like,
I know. It's just we just wanna what happened to the Destiny? We just wanna know.
Okay, it was Destiny and Rush's wife who died. Okay, so Amanda Perry, Dr. Amanda Perry, and the Destiny. Which, who knows if it was the Destiny? It probably is just an ancient that had the same thing happen to them way back when.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe they just kind of lost track. They think they're the ship now or something, you know?
Yeah. And maybe that could be part of the reason why Destiny's kind of just spacing, just hanging out in space. I guess it's still kind of trying to do something, but
they weren't really clear about it. They kind of were just starting to sort of explore that, and then we didn't get any more. So,
yeah, okay. If it's Rush though, I shouldn't assume, but I feel like it'd be more likely to be Amanda Perry. But I don't know. Destiny controlling things before.
Yeah. I just don't remember it being like that clear to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just I need to watch the show again, I guess. Because I don't remember it being like super clear if it was Amanda or not, or the ship, or if they left it kind of ambiguous. But that's they kind of played with the Destiny sort of having its own thing, right? Because Rush is always talking about this is what the ship wants to do, or the ship is taking us here because that's a resource we need and stuff like that. So it must be some sort of intelligence to be able to like want to take this, be able to know what they're talking about, what they need, like water or whatever it was, and then the ship taking them there, and then Rush kind of being like, you just got to let the ship do what it wants to do. It's going to take care of us or whatever, It's just interesting. It's just there's so much there that we just never got to dig into. Yeah. But
Yeah, because like literally my brain goes in like 7 different angles there. It's like because it can access brains and stuff. So that again,
so
does that make
like a living ship, or is
that
it
literally in my mind? does that maybe not make it a Leviathan, but does that equivalate it to a Leviathan maybe? Or does it make it a Leviathan? Because there's living souls that are what if also just a crazy thought. I mean, like they could literally have an entire crew of dead ancients that are still manning the ship, and they could literally have a ghost crew of ancients on board.
It's possible.
And that's the only reason Destiny's still running the way it is before our SGU team get there.
Right, because in the show they make it like, oh, the ancients did this and then they all ascended and just left it. But maybe that's not true.
Oh, God. Bring us more Stargate. We need it like, so bad.
That's why we're doing this show, right? We're trying to bring it back.
We got to herald something back in here. Come on.
Yeah.
And y'all have to name a character Harold if that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Destiny produced Ruth's wife to talk to him before the others found out he'd found the bridge. Yeah, but that was still after she'd passed, right?
Yeah, well, she had already died before the mission. Like, didn't she die like a year before or something? They even went on this, or I don't remember.
She was
already dead when they left.
But she wasn't dead. She was just crippled. She got into an accident, right, and became like a paraplegic or quadriplegic.
No, I thought she had cancer or something and died. Because remember they revisit it when I forget exactly what happened. You know, when Rush is trying to figure out that calculation, and Daniel's there talking to him, and he's having to go back to, and his wife's kind of dying. You kind of get the story of his wife dying, but he realizes that it's like just a simulation or whatever it was, a memory, and so he's ignoring it, and he comes across as like an asshole that his wife is dying, but he's just ignoring. They're trying to get him to kind of face how he was during that, or I don't know how he actually was, but
well, I'm trying to remember because that was not Amanda Perry, right? Because Amanda Perry was who he started dating after that happened, right?
I believe so. Or was a thing like they worked together? Maybe she had a thing for him, but nothing had happened because he was married or whatever. And then I think maybe there was feelings, but nothing had like really happened until the show, you know, when they brought her in. Yeah.
Okay. So okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because I guess I just wrote Amanda Perry into that character all in one kind of deal. But wasn't Amanda Perry? Wasn't she like?
She was in a wheelchair, but I think did she have like MS or something? I want to say it was something like that. I don't know if that's what it was, but it was something, or was it an accident? Maybe it was an accident. No, I don't remember.
Yeah, it was either an accident or like ALS, MS, something along those lines. Yeah. Oh, it wasn't ALS because that's what TJ gets ALS or has ALS and realizes
right.
And she's like, "How long do I have before my body starts to deteriorate?"
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's how I was conflating the TJ and Amanda, but she had an accident. Yeah, that was right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. She was a student as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yes. But yeah, reasoning. Something. Something.
Yeah, she was. I think she had one of those things where like you didn't she have the thing where you like control the wheelchair with your like mouth or whatever? Yeah.
That might have been it.
Yeah. Yeah, because Camille jumped into her body, right? So they could have Amanda on the ship.
Yeah, and that was a sad episode too.
Yeah.
Car crash. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, good episodes. Someone said all of the episodes were bad earlier. I'm like, come on, these are all such good like things.
That was Mike. I believe.
Mike was bad every episode. Seemed to be fighting and falling out. I agree. Surprise.
With what he was saying, like the first season was definitely, especially the first half of the first season, was definitely a lot of that. But the second season, it gets better. It starts getting good. I mean, they even start kind of reintroducing some humor in the second season.
And not just Eli too. I think that's where Brody and Vogel,
Vogel,
really kind of start to find their own as well. As they're not hilarious or anything, but the situations and how they interact with situations tend to be fun.
They kind of, it was very much like, what was it, Combs and from SG1, only not as funny. But I feel like they were kind of leaning it that direction. But we didn't get to go there, obviously. But I think they were leaning that way. I really feel.
Yeah, I doubt it ever would have been like as funny as an SGA or SG1.
No,
but a little bit of levity would have been nice because that first season,
it's depressing.
I don't think it described it full stop, but it ain't far off either. It ain't far off either.
No, I mean,
because they felt, I feel like instead of, and I think that's one of those big things. Obviously, I haven't been watching the new Who stuff, but that kind of seems like maybe one of the things that people have been annoyed with there is like, all right, bring back some levity. We don't need to like have people actually like crying and being upset every episode. The world sucks already sometimes.
Yeah,
I know these crazy scenarios have to happen in these TV shows, but we watch the TV shows to enjoy ourselves for a bit and maybe feel some good emotions.
Reality.
Yeah. Feel some good emotions most of the time. Feel any and every emotion. There are times we have to watch a Schindler's List or a Marley and Me. Those are two very different things, but either should make you cry.
Very different. Like one is based on history. Oh wait, was Marley and Me a real story?
It is true. It's true.
Okay. Is that's the one with the dog, right? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
That I'll never forgive Miss Pemberton, my third grade teacher, who read that book aloud to the entire class. And if you want an entire class of third graders crying, that's a core memory that I have.
Traumatized.
But besides that, she was a good teacher. The whole class, you can't read that to a bunch of what? How old are you in third grade? Like 9 or something like that? Like it was no good. You can't have a dog dying in a book for a bunch of 9-year-olds.
My teacher read How to Eat Fried Worms.
Hey, I love that one too, though. The movie, of course, kind of happened for our age group, just microwaving worms. Yeah. What? I guess ultimately. Oh, okay. David did ask a question before we jump into other questions. I think I watched 3 episodes of season 2 and decided it was more of the same and gave up and got it binned. I didn't care. If you've never taken the time to go do that, you should. It is worth the watch. She might have read Old Yeller. Oh, Old Yeller. Oh God.
Yeah, that's sad too. But
that one gets you. SGU. Weird thing about it, we're past. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to figure out the grammar. SGU. Weird thing about it, we're past where we are. Oh, I'm
not
sorry.
getting it.
help us out, Arnold.
The planet builders, that's I wanted more of that too.
I feel like I get what you're saying. I just don't know how to verbalize exactly the thought. SGU had more of that soul searching feel to it. Yeah. And that would be.
Yeah, I mean, there was sort of the BSG-ness of it too. But watching it now, where it's you've got that separation between those two shows, it's
still different enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
The episodes were good, but the plot arcs were awful. They wanted to be darker like Battlestar was. The Stones were bad plot device. Yep. And really messed things up, especially for Young and Telford.
Yeah.
I don't
especially when you switch back while
engaging
in certain activities.
That was freaking wild.
Yeah.
And that was just a damper on all of season 1. But I feel like Telford, at least Young, I love the actor. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. If I heard it, I'd be like, "Ha!"
Louis Ferreira. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
It might be Louis Ferreira, something like that.
Yeah.
Because he was just in Shogun as well for a couple episodes last year.
Oh yeah.
He's a great freaking actor. I don't like that character at all. Like Young just is just grating so much. I don't think he ever really gets.
I don't
that
think
much
I don't think you're supposed to like him. I think he's
I don't think
supposed
so
to
either.
kind of be a jerk. I mean, he was cheating on his wife and got her pregnant, and he's not supposed to be. I don't think he's really supposed to be likable.
No, and then Telford's over here, not necessarily a good guy by any means, but it's LDP. I can't help but like LDP, and then LDP characters. Telford's just immediately like the more likable character out of the two of them, and
he's kind of a jerk at first, and then later on, you kind of like him more. But
it's almost that like jerk in the military aspect, and because he knows he has to do the Lucian Alliance things, and he's being forced as well.
Right.
After that, the brainwash from Lucian Alliance thing. After that's kind of gone, and he's trying to make the decisions and almost be that kind of intermediary between the two parties. He's far more useful than Young. Young is just I'm holding rank. Listen to me. I'm holding rank the entire time. I'm like, all right, dude, like you should definitely be in charge if that's your thought process. Like, have you thought about what you actually want to do with the ship or anything yet? No, I need to assert my position first. All right.
Yeah, he's kind of anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I get why he exists, and he's sort of the military leader guy, but he's very flawed, for sure.
He is. I just scrolled down and I saw I hated La Bamba too. La Bamba. How? I love that movie. But I guess just not a fan of LDP. Maybe that may have been the problem for me. I didn't like any of the characters or any of the actors. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't. I just read that for the first time. But yeah, that's the comment I guess I was trying to get back to.
Yeah, it's up. I think it's up there a bit.
Real quick, let's get back just because the Arnold right there did clarify reality. Are we lone or are there aliens versus God? Oh, because they're dealing with that all the time. Yeah.
Planet builders.
Traveler saying he's watching The 100. Have we seen that?
No, I remember. I mean, I've heard of it, but I have not watched it.
Is it any good? I've heard some people say the first season is really good, and then it just trails off. It always looked. I don't like to necessarily say it, but it looked like shite to me. It just looked like complete utter BS from the get-go to me. It was like cool concept, and the CW has it. I'm not going to watch it. Literally, like I liked Arrow and all that kind of stuff, but if the CW has a project, I'm more likely not to watch it just because I don't think they actually care about their product most of the time. They treat it more like a product than a project. And
they did the Arrowverse stuff great, but I mean, not all of it, but the earlier Arrow stuff was good. Let's put it that way.
Like, all of the earlier shows were really good, and then it just got to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because it took a nosedive after the Crisis Earth thing. It was downhill. It just sucked after that.
Oh, I couldn't even make it to that. I tried to watch Crisis on Infinite Earths, and I was like, I'm going to be OCD and try to watch all of it. I have to catch up to everything before if I had to, and I was like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. I was watching all the shows, so yeah.
Yeah, they just because it was fun to have like that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday show and be like, when it truly lost its fun and became homework was whenever it was just done. And kind of the same thing happened with the MCU with all the Disney Plus shows. But yeah, CW just few things make me eye roll and just kind of pissed off in Hollywood more than CW because they treated all of their projects like products And even with them not treating their art with an artful mindset and more of that business mindset,
Yeah.
they sucked at it because they didn't make a single dollar or a penny of profit the entirety of the existence of CW. CW not once churned a profit.
Right.
And they still treated their shows like products and not projects, and didn't let the love from the creators actually shine through in any of their shows.
So the network got sold to somebody else, didn't it? And so now it's really crap. But
yeah, I mean, it just became a Warner Brothers offshoot, essentially. Early on, CW was amazing, and then they just at a certain point they just decided to just
because there's a lot. I mean, Supernatural was great. There was some hits and misses in the middle there, but overall, Supernatural is great. But,
they have a lot of good shows. Just I wish they cared for their shows.
Yeah,
and I guess trying to jump into that business mindset, if none of your shows are making money, how do you care for them from the business perspective? But also that's why you hire business executives for your business that also have things to do with art as well, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bob Iger's done a lot of big things at Disney. I wouldn't necessarily say a lot of like great things, and I think he could have done great things if he actually cared for the products he was making, for the projects he was making. And that trickles down from Disney to the CW and any and everything in between, maybe the CW.
Where the entertainment industry is going to go. It's going to be different.
That it will be. Couldn't watch Legends of Tomorrow. It was totally shite. Season 1 of Legends of Tomorrow.
Early seasons are good.
It's really good. It might not be 22 episodes of really good, but it's like 18 episodes of really good. Somewhere in that.
I kind of quit watching it because it became like they became too self-aware of what the show was, and it just wasn't funny anymore.
The second it was like, we're gonna have Bebo pop up in every third episode.
Yeah. Like at first that was funny, but then it was like, okay.
Well, with I guess spoilers if no one's caught up with Legends of Tomorrow or has any interest at all in watching it, but after Leonard Snart dies, there's not a point. I'm like, I'm done with the show,
I don't know if I even watched
being at the tail end of Legends of Tomorrow. That's just kind of funny. Not surprising either, though.
We had White Canary, right?
Yeah. And I do like the actress that plays her, so freaking. She's a great actress. And I like the actress that ended up playing, I guess, the director of whatever little organization that was there that Rip was working for. All that, her lesbian girlfriend there. Great actress. I don't remember her name or character name. But yeah, by the end of it, it lost its plot. It's like.
Yeah, I liked it when Rory was on the show.
Because even after Snart dies in season 1, there's still some good season 2 stuff because you get a couple good minor characters. Ray Palmer coming in was good for a little bit. Brandon Routh and everything.
The Atom, right?
Yeah. And also Superman. If only he was given. Actually, I do like Henry Cavill as Superman, but only if Henry Cavill was cast instead of Brandon Routh at the time. I'm kidding. Because I do love Brandon Routh, but I wish we would have had Henry Cavill actually had a Superman that smiled.
Yeah.
I don't know. Crucify me, but I just want Superman smiling. I don't know.
He's supposed to be a nice guy. Right?
Yeah. And not, oh my God, I'm glad they're doing all the reshoots or whatever for the Superman stuff because all of what Jamie was saying. And then after that trailer, I was like, oh no.
I'm tired of Superman. Like another Superman movie. I'm done. I'll watch it. I'll probably go to the theater and watch it because for the thing we're doing here, I need to be up to date on these things. But if I didn't need to see it, I probably would just wait till it comes up on Max or HBO Max. Is that where DC stuff is?
Well, I guess now it's HBO Max again.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah. Now it's HBO Max again.
Yeah. From HBO Now to HBO Go to HBO Max to HBO. No,
Max
to
again.
HBO Max again. Sorry.
Yeah. It's like branding,
we need the box
people,
office brand.
pick something and stick with it. Yeah.
Come on. Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. It kind of works. Thanks, Popcorn. Gave me a reason to finish it. I just read that. The only one I liked was Dominic Purcell, and he left as well. Yeah, Rory.
Oh yeah.
I can't watch any superhero films, as you know. It's a few corny lines, and they win in the end. Sure, most of the time. There's a lot of different iterations of that. But also, you could apply that. That's not. I wouldn't say that's a good reason not to watch anything. Obviously, if you're not interested in something, don't watch it. But
right.
You could apply that same thing to the hero's journey, and say every movie I've ever watched isn't worth it because it's all going to correlate to this one thing. And if it doesn't right now, it will in the next movie or a sequel of that, something like that. But yeah, we were having a good discussion, Arnold. Plus, I'm not 6 years old. Well, with that mindset and attitude, it kind of sounds like you're griping like one. Maybe
there you go.
Grow up a bit, but in a very respectful, fun way. I do that to mess with you, of course. But saying literally like being pissy at stuff like that is the equivalent of being pissed off like a 6-year-old at that kind of stuff. We're all adults. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Nope, I'm old and grumpy.
Well, I would say the superhero stuff is kind of getting old. I mean,
Well, yeah, and talking of Dennis the Menace, talking about like the Henry Cavill stuff particularly, that decided to get into the dark version of it all, and that's not even like I don't know. When you get into the dark aspects of stuff, that was just bleak for the sake of being bleak. And there are things like The Boys or Invincible. Where Invincible, I think, is the happy Goldilocks zone of it all. Just less views because obviously animation and just some people don't want to just take the dive into animation sometimes. And The Boys, I think, is better about living within the dark, but they're so focused on trying to make the dark funny or ironic somehow that it loses a little bit of that focus. Not necessarily focus, because that is their focus, but it loses the ability to have some nuance within that, I guess. Where Invincible is really good about that. But yeah, Cronus. Mike does not like Star Wars. It is very funny. It is really funny. But he did vote for Empire Strikes Back in our Chevron Awards, which was it felt like a victory, Mike. It was fun.
Anyway, our favorite SGU character is
to get back to the plot, talking about it. Our favorite SGU recurring.
Oh, that's a hard one. God, I don't even. I'll go with Jin. I think because she's the truly recurring character, and was a new character. Yeah, I don't know if like Daniel and Jack and stuff are in it enough.
But
I mean, Daniel maybe is recurring because I like that episode of him and Rush together.
That's what I lean towards. I was going to say Daniel for that, but like you're saying, I don't know if it's just enough. He's a recurring character by technicality, but I don't know.
There's not enough there. I don't think.
Yeah, I feel like Jin does fit that better. I don't know why they label Vanessa James as or Varro as recurring characters and not regulars. Maybe they really weren't paid as regulars either season. In a third season, probably would have seen them both become paid as that.
Yeah, because they were really starting to do this, Lucian alliance, yes,
Yeah,
you know, sort of, or I guess they were kind of under. They switched teams to kind of fight against the Lucian alliance or whatever. Anyway,
I think they kind of realized
hmm
their situation and the gravity of
hmm
it. And it's like,
right,
okay, Lucian Alliance is good at take, but not necessarily survive.
hmm right,
And I think Jin was just a kind soul. I think Varro is a hardened soul, but still
hmm
kind underneath all that. And obviously, we saw that with him and TJ and everything like
yeah,
that.
yep,
But I think I might be with Cronus. If these are the actual, like, if these are the recurring characters,
hmm
it's either James or Varro for me. And then
yeah,
Jin would be the person I would say Jin was forced to join, yes, the
hmm
Lucian Alliance.
yeah, yep,
But if we're talking pound for pound, I'm gonna say Jin because she had the fewest episodes, lines of dialogues, moments in general, and
hmm
damn, she made the most with them.
hmm
Um, yeah, the Lucian Alliance had a strike
hmm
team on board. They needed the crew, engineers, etc. So
hmm
they didn't know what to do. And Varro, yeah, it just makes
yeah,
sense. The character had a lot of development and growth from when we were first introduced to him, definitely.
hmm
Um,
yeah. I
and I
liked
think
him, and I liked the him and TJ kind of developing a relationship. I like that too. Mhm.
yeah, I do. I'm still confused why James is in there in this category at all. Like literally, unless they just screwed the actress over and didn't pay her as a regular the entire time, which
Right.
sadly very well might be the case.
How many episodes was she in? Does it say?
It probably
I don't
should.
even know how many total episodes there were. 20 or
I think there's 22 for both those seasons. That or there's like
Mhm.
14 or something. It does kind
Oh,
of
here it says 35 episodes. Stargate
total.
Universe episodes.
Okay.
Appearances. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It seems like she's there the entire time, obviously, but
hmm
does it give us appearances for her? Stargate season 1. Oh, Universe season 1.
Yeah. There we
She's
go.
in part 1, 2, 3.
Oh, there was some Kino. I've never seen those Kino episodes. I should try to find
Me
those.
either. Covered Kino, don't encourage him.
Yeah.
Wait for it. She's literally in every episode. How is she not a regular? That
Yeah.
that literally is probably the case of
Right.
she just didn't have the name to be paid
Right.
that way at the time.
Right. Well, she may not have. I don't know if she ever had a lot of lines. I mean, when they had episodes with her in it, but she always just seemed to kind of be there as like part of Greer's team or whatever. Like, seems
Well,
like
'cause
her and Greer did a
her
lot of
and
things
Greer
together.
end up getting together, right?
I don't remember, honestly.
No, because Greer ends up with Linda Park, um,
Oh yeah.
Dr. Park,
hmm
but James gets in with somebody. She gets
No, she was with what's his name in the beginning of the show,
Scott,
and then he ends up with
Chloe.
Chloe
Hmm.
with Scott. Her and
Yeah,
Scott are having, but I think it's more just kind of like a hook. They're just like hooking up kind of thing, more than like together as a couple.
yeah, that was very much the case. And then
Yeah.
he liked Chloe
hmm
as a couple, and they kind of
hmm Yeah.
kept up
Yeah.
with that.
hmm
Um, but I feel like James did find somebody in the end.
hmm
Yes, in the old age episode. Who was that? But I thought she had like someone that she was like friendly with on the ship. Um,
Was it? No.
agreed, promise.
Was it one of the like nerd guys? I don't know. Because I want to say that, but I don't know if that's true.
I almost wanted to say Eli for a second, but he
Right.
he
Oh, Jin, him and Jin, kind of our thing, right?
but
Yeah.
I feel like did James get jealous of Jen or did James get jealous of Park? Did Greer and her get together and then he go over to Park and then I need to watch once again. We need to watch
I
all
know.
this.
Yeah. SGU shipping.
Yeah. Okay, Vanessa James love life. Is that what I'm going to type in? I don't know if I need that in my
Yeah, is
search.
there like a, does Gate World have a chart of who hooked up with you?
Okay, she
Somebody
was in a
can do that,
relationship
I
with
guess.
fellow officer Matthew Scott.
Yeah.
Oh, honestly, I guess we do have her freaking wiki right here. Like, it should say it somewhere in here.
Yeah.
Background. She switched bodies with Amanda Perry.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she
Oh,
volunteered to do
she
that
was
for one.
freaking out. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. She couldn't deal with being a quadriplegic. Like, it freaked her out, so they had to cut it short.
Understandable. That would be a little jarring.
Yeah.
James likes Scott, but for Scott, it was a booty call. Scott loves Chloe. Yes.
Yeah.
In the time travel episode, I think she ends up with the Lucian Alliance guy. Is okay. Then maybe it was a Lucian person. Lucian Alliance.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Maybe it was one of the other Lucian Alliance dudes. But, yeah.
Like, I'm sure it ought to tell us right here too, though.
Maybe she just wasn't a prominent enough character to, note that.
Yeah. Huh.
Oh, that's right. I remember that episode now, where they live out their life on that planet, or was that an alternate reality that happened somehow, or I don't remember. But
Technically, that was it. Is that an alternate timeline, or is that the timeline?
it says right there in an alternate timeline. Oh wait, maybe that's not. Yeah.
In another alternate timeline, instead of choosing to return to Earth with everyone else, James volunteered to remain behind on Destiny as part of the group that was staying to complete the mission. When things got too unstable, she and the rest of the volunteers headed through the Stargate too, but like everyone else except for Colonel David Telford, didn't make it to Earth and was presumed dead. However, she ended up on the planet that she and other survivors called Novus, 2,000 years in the past. That's okay, because it's technically not an alternate timeline at the same time, right?
Yeah, I forget. Was there some sort of gate accident that put them there? Or?
Well, because that's whenever they go meet all of their ancestors that were stranded out on that one planet, and they can see that, oh yeah, this is like the history of when we landed and who lived and who shacked up and who had children and who so on and so forth. David said James got that was wishful thinking. You get to see who married who in the episodes. Yeah. Because technically, yeah, they tried to dial the gate in the star and they were sent back in time. Because technically, it's not a alternate timeline, right? It is still, because our modern timeline meets that time or meets the ancestors.
Right. So is it just like that was an offshoot of the timeline that ended up merging back with the real timeline or the main timeline? Or it's they're on the same timeline. It's just they jumped further back into it, and then
that's what I was trying to think.
Timey-wimey or stuff, but yeah,
because it's they definitely didn't like splinter into a new timeline. They just went backwards on one. Yeah, it's the same timeline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang. See, Mike, you got to go watch some SGU. There's some crazy weird stuff. It's some fun stuff.
There's some nuggets in there. It's not all great, but it's worth a watch through just to have it.
As we're saying it's cool, he's like, run out of ideas. We tried, Mike. We tried. This is very timey-wimey. Very timey-wimey. But yeah, no, SGU does have some great stuff in it. Great stuff. But they leaned into trying to make it the serious show a little too freaking much.
Yeah, they did.
But they have some of the most cool things Stargate does in the series as well. Hell, we've talked a lot about a lot. We figured out what SGA was who? Todd?
Todd, yes.
The man. The man or the bug? I don't actually. Man bug. Would he be a bugman or a man bug? Man bug's kind of more fun to say. LOL, the bugman. I think they time traveled twice in SG1 and once in SGA.
Yeah.
And there would be twice in SGU.
SG1 was 1969.
Yes.
What was the SGA one? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know why I made the noise and did like a little thing like that. The puddle jumper, the time dilating puddle jumper.
Oh, right.
Okay. Message from 2010 to 2001. Yep. Oh, that was the second one for SG1. We have visited a few rabbit holes today, you know.
As always.
Mobius 1 and 2. Shepard went 10,000 years in the future.
Oh, that's right. With McKay, and he runs into McKay's hologram, and like the planet is like a desert planet now, and Atlantis is just sitting there, and it's all full of there's like sand drifts in Atlantis. And McKay left a hologram for Shepard, and then tells him how to go back. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. Yep.
The Last Man. Okay. I don't know why that one's not popping back in the memory banks.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can't type.
Because I think does he talk about being married to Keller and stuff too? I don't remember, but
maybe. Yeah, I remember like that. I don't know if I remember much else from that episode.
He was an old man when he like figured out whatever he knew how to undo whatever happened to Shepard, but it was going to be like 10,000 years in the future before he could do it or something. So he left a message to tell Shepard how to get back to his own time.
Yeah, I remember like the concept of it. I don't know if I remember like the details though. I have to go back and watch it.
I'm not sure if I have the details right. I'll have to like, go to the.
Well, that'd be a fun one to rewatch. I might have to do that sometime this week, honestly. Yeah. SGA had Weird go back in time and meet the ancients, save Atlantis with his EPM swapping. So that's 3 SGA.
Yeah, they do some timey-wimey stuff, I guess, too. Yeah. And then, like, I think somebody mentioned it before in the 2010 episode. They send that note back.
The 2001. And then SGU has the twice, right? It has obviously when they go back and have the ancestors, but also with when that T-Rex pops up or whatever, like the dinosaur looking thing pops up, and the entire crew is eaten alive on that planet. And they have to they find their Kino there when they get there, and they realize they're in some loop and they have to get out of it.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, that was a time loop. Yeah, I remember that was kind of a crazy episode.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So we got Todd and Jin as probably our two recurring characters for today that stand the test of time.
Yep.
So yeah, I think Varro gets a kind of a special mention ish if he is a recurring character.
Yeah, I think he's worth a mention. Yeah.
Well, we know what Harris is going to be watching. LOL. Andor, because I still haven't watched it. I need to catch up. And
Oh my God,
I need to watch it so bad.
You are going to love it. I will say you will like it. But
that's one of the reasons I haven't like sat down to do it. Is just there's just with the moving process is just freaking. It's a long process. And when I sit down to do that, I'm like, I really need to focus. And then I'll just look off and I'm like, well, that needs to go be put up somewhere. Oh, that needs to be put up. I just get too ADD with it, you know?
Right.
I need to actually sit there and do it. But yeah. And I'm going to go see some Mission Impossible tonight, though, because I've already bought tickets and I missed it whenever I tried to go last time. So I have to go
I want to see it. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to the theater and see it because Brett and I are going to a concert Saturday night. So,
ooh, fun one.
Yeah, my favorite band, Tesseract.
Ooh.
So.
Heyo. Yeah, that'll be fun. Jewel State does do some TikToks that are interesting. How so? Because I know she was doing some stuff with the Companion as well, wasn't she, for a little bit?
Yeah, back when the Companion was doing more of that kind of stuff.
The mental health and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think she posts. I follow her on like Instagram and stuff too, and she sometimes, I don't know if she asked for it, but I see like where it'll be a reel with like somebody had asked her a question and she'll talk about, so it'll be questions about Firefly, about SGA, about, but I haven't watched a lot of them.
Just didn't she do some cooking stuff?
Huh?
She did some cooking stuff too, right?
Yeah, she was, it seemed like she was going to be doing this thing where she was going to be like doing cooking stuff regularly, but I haven't seen any videos. I mean, I haven't really looked for them, I guess, but I think I don't know if she actually ended up doing it, but it might be because she's doing that family law show.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize she had a show with her right now. That's good.
Yeah. It's on the CW, I believe. I've been wanting to watch it. It's like 3 or 4. It's got like 3 seasons or 4 seasons now. Anyway, it also has oh God, what's his name? He played Alias's dad in that show. The show Alias. He played Jennifer Garner's dad in Alias. Garber? What's his name? Yeah.
Victor Garber.
Yeah. Yep. He's in it too.
I can never remember his name. I always remember it's Victor. I'm like, he's played like 8 different characters named Victor, and I just can never remember the last name. I'm putting that into the memory bank. I can't even say the word banks. Memory banks right now, alongside Christopher Heyerdahl. They're right there. They're staying. Yeah. Canceled SGA for SGU. So,
was that a good choice? I don't know. Well, then there's all that stuff with what was it? MGM had all those problems going on in the background.
Yeah, because they've talked about it. It wasn't canceled for SGU, but they just didn't have the money to do both. I believe is the way they have stated it. What was it on the Shuttlepod show? Joe Flanagan. Mike Flanagan is a horror movie director and has a bunch of Netflix movies that are and shows that are pretty good. Joe Flanagan. Yeah, he's the guy who did what's the one that Mark Hamill was just in? He's the one who keeps doing he did Dr. Sleep, I believe, and then I believe he's also done they keep doing like different versions of it. The Murder of Hill House and stuff like that on Netflix. I don't know if you're familiar with that one. Okay. But he's a big horror movie guy. Joe Flanagan, though, I totally forgot what we were talking about.
Oh, if SGA was canceled for SGU, but it was more like they didn't have the money to continue it. I don't think they wanted to cancel
Shuttlepod show.
Yeah.
I think Joe Flanagan does a really good job of like elaborating on that. But yeah, he does a much better job because he knows the ins and outs and almost tried to buy the whole thing at a certain point.
Yeah, that would have been cool if he could have done. It would have been interesting to see what he would have done with it, I guess. Anyway,
talking about timelines, that would be a fun timeline to live.
Alternate timeline. Yeah, Stargate never ended. It's still on. Hey, in some alternate reality, that could be true.
It probably the vast majority of them. You're probably living in the one that it doesn't happen in.
Yeah, of course, it would be probably completely different, all different actors, because they would have evolved to, evolved it into other people as it went on. I'm sure, but
SG1 was made up of Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Meg Ryan, and Carl Weathers. There we go. We've got it. Alternate timeline, SG1, 20 years before everything.
Yeah.
Actually, Meg Ryan is way too young to put with everybody else there. Helen Mirren. There we go.
Hey, hi, Spoof. There we go. Yeah, with AI, you can do all this crazy things.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah, I think the SGU creators definitely wanted to do something different. Hilarious.
Yeah.
SGA now and the Anteros device. Ooh. So what we were talking about earlier a little bit.
Oh, that was the thing it was called. Yeah, the Anteros device. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hopefully, if they bring Stargate back, we at least, it doesn't have to be like the main, we at least get maybe like an episode or a two-parter that kind of closes that, or at least tells us what's going on, instead of just leaving it hanging out there.
I don't see how they start a show and include anything SGU or Destiny based. Maybe SGU in like the Milky Way aspect, like maybe some Lucian stuff, and they're still also trying to find their people or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't see. There are obviously many ways, and we've all talked about them, how they could try to like start it off with a Destiny movie to finish everything up. Yes, you did continue as a comic, but is it canon? Question mark.
Yeah. Or would they just take that material and adapt it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I could see, like, I don't know if that you want to start off with like the Destiny and stuff, but somehow incorporate it in a way that makes sense, because you'd have to kind of retell the story, because you're going to have new people coming in, so you'd have to reset it, what's going on and all that. But
I think the best way to start would be like an SG1 or SGA focus, like we've kind of talked about over the last like, month or two more so, and imply that things like this happen, or talk about it and say the Lucian Alliance hasn't been as vicious as late, and they've come down on the amount they've attacked Earth, and maybe they attack Earth all the time now, and like it's just like, oh, now they're doing it once a month or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I like the Lucian Alliance. It'd be good to keep keep them around.
A little SG1, a little SGU kind of together, tie that in a little bit, and then in a second or third or fourth season, I feel like a Destiny tie-in would be amazing, because that gives you groundwork, legwork to set that up. Okay, we're still trying. You still get that word of mouth. Then you can kind of figure that out probably over the course of like maybe a two-parter, but it'd be even cool to see like a 4 or 6 episode parter, I guess we're also thinking in the 22 episode, 24 episode like thought process, but
right. Because then the thought is too, like, okay, you bring the Destiny back, then what are you doing with the Destiny? Is it just gonna be like hanging out orbiting Earth, or are you gonna like, what are you doing with the Destiny then? You know,
we might, because obviously we have a YouTube channel that kind of focuses on Stargate sometimes.
Mhm.
SGU is the thing that gets the most views of anything Stargate was. It is the thing most people are excited about and interested in for the coming back of Stargate. That being
right.
said, it wasn't necessarily popular at the time, and
Mm-mm.
some people still don't like it.
Right.
I think it would be smarter
Mm.
to keep it
Right.
off on the horizon just a little bit.
Right. But I think if you didn't like it in the day, like rewatch it now, it's more. I think it's better. It kind of, I don't know, maybe because of like that separation from BSG, like you can kind of watch it on its own and not be thinking, oh, that's like that other show I watch, you know.
Well,
I think it holds up. I think it works better now than it did at the time.
yeah, because there was a different
Mhm.
age of television almost,
Mhm.
where everything
Yeah.
did get a little darker after the
Mhm.
2010s.
Right. Yeah.
Not a little darker, especially Game of Thrones. Thank you.
Mhm.
Super freaking dark everywhere.
Yeah.
Woohoo! But it's
Red
still
wedding.
really good television. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good lord. SGU
Right.
reminds me. I don't know. Don't crucify me, y'all. But
Mhm.
watching The Expanse first, I've
Mm.
never seen Battlestar Galactica. It is the show that I think I can correlate SGU to most outside of Stargate. Um,
Mhm.
Part of that is, because they have giant freaking Stargates at the end of The Expanse as well. But
Yeah.
it is kind of more the tone, I feel like, especially the first couple
Mhm.
seasons of The Expanse.
Yeah.
I feel like Thomas Jane Expanse is similar to SGU.
Mhm. Yeah, I think BSG kind of set that sort of new science fiction space tone,
Mm.
and then SGU kinda took that and expand, and then just I think everything after that has been kind of that sort of feel in a way. Kind of darker, more let's make it more realistic and
Yeah,
less like, you know
lean into the physics versus the
Mhm.
fantastical, maybe.
Right, yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
The
Make
science
it
you
more,
everything.
yeah. I mean, people want more like, okay, let's at least base it on the real science, even if it's not totally there, at least there's elements
Mm-hmm. Give
or,
us that the thought process y'all had
Mhm.
was there or something. Mm-hmm.
Right, or even delving into like making like what's theoretical now, like reality in the future or whatever. Mhm.
Yeah. Hey, instead of a Bill Nye, well, definitely instead of
Mhm.
Bill Nye.
Mhm.
Sorry, not sorry, Bill Nye.
Right.
But I don't know why they didn't do it back then. I don't know why Bill
Mhm.
Nye was ever in an episode of SGA. Bill Nye is much more intelligent and much more well sciencey than I could ever be.
Mhm.
But he's a joke and comparatively, and I don't like to
Mhm.
compare and all that. I don't know why the hell you put him next to Neil deGrasse Tyson in a freaking thing. When
Right.
we mentioned the perfect person earlier, Michio Kaku was huge back then too.
Yeah. Yep.
Really, you don't think Neil deGrasse Tyson? I like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think he gets a little crazy sometimes,
Mhm.
but also people are people,
Right.
and people
Yeah.
have opinions, and
I mean, at
life's
least
life.
he's a real scientist, where Bill
Exactly.
Nye
That's where
is a comedian. Yeah.
he's a children's performer.
Mhm. I think he's
Um,
from Seattle here. There was a show on in the '90s, what was it called?
Doing out of
Almost
science.
Live, and he was in
Oh,
it. Yeah. Huh.
because I guess his show would have started maybe the early 2000s then. Because I was thinking that I knew he had
Mhm.
something up on.
Mhm.
But yeah, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, at least Carl
Mhm.
Sagan handpicked him to go do Cosmos after him.
Right.
I don't think Bill Nye is ever getting on the short list to do Cosmos or anything like that. Uh, but
Yeah.
Dr. Michio Kaku could be, and that would be a
Mhm.
good person. And it'd be fun to have those kind of like experimental kind of scientists
Right. Mhm.
get a little love on whatever the
Mhm.
new Stargate could be down the line.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of room to actually, to do that. I mean, and they are actually, I mean, traveling through wormholes and stuff is theoretical, you know, at this point. Well, I mean, well, in the Stargate world, of course, obviously it's not theoretical, but
Yeah. I'm still laughing at Bill Nye's a legend. Just ask my elementary and middle school students.
Mhm.
He also
he
has a
does have an
mechanical
engineering,
engineering degree, which I knew he had some kind of like an actual like solid degree somewhere. But you know that this puts him on par with he could still work at NASA and stuff. Like Mark Rober, I think is who he's on par with. The YouTuber Mark Rober, who worked for NASA and helped put rocket ships in space, but also didn't say like Bill Nye the Science Guy. Like he's like, okay, like he's still very fun. He has his own showmanship and stuff, but he hasn't taken his persona to the next level to try to be like, yes, I'm hanging out with Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson over here and everything else. I should be at all these big conventions. Dude, no, you're a mechanical engineer. Like it's entirely different, separate field, not theoretical physics. Like it's not. Don't conflate the two. Like they are separate. Sorry, Bill Nye, you see this? Come at me, dude. I'm an actor in Hollywood. Come at me. Like, come on.
Well, Bill Nye would be a good host for a theoretical physicist convention or whatever.
Maybe Neil deGrasse Tyson would be the better host there. Both for celebrity casting. That's it. Yep. Just kind of got on a tangent. Oops.
Yeah.
Because we've done Michio Kaku, who'd be so cool.
Maybe he didn't want to do it. Maybe they asked. Who knows?
That's a good point. Sorry, Bill Nye, if that was the case. In that case, I take it mostly back. Bill Nye and Mark Rober combo into a TV show would probably work out. That would be perfect. Like, honestly, I know I might have just poo-pooed a little bit on Bill Nye, but I would hire, if I had the money to hire him and Mark Rober for like a little cameo on a show, I'd do it all day because those two would be perfect. You literally get Mark Rober is the new age Bill Nye. And I don't think Bill Nye is truly a scientist, but was just using science and more mathematics and science to figure out all the experiments. Anyway, we're going down rabbit holes. Jen and Todd.
Yep.
Oh, honestly, Monk, come on. Adam Savage would have been a better choice. Talk about an engineer that's more sciencey and more film focused too.
Right. And that was when like Mythbusters was pretty big too.
At its like maybe not its peak, but definitely like near the beginning, beginning, middle, somewhere around that era.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we jump out of here, because we're just kind of hanging in rabbit hole now at this point. David did ask a question earlier. And we were going to talk about it, and then we got distracted. And then I tried to bring it up again, and I think I got distracted within bringing it up and do something else. Bill Nye was on Big Bang Theory and Blind Spot. Never heard of him before that. That makes sense. I don't think a whole bunch of people over like 30 necessarily know who Bill Nye is. And the fact that's even the case is kind of like more of a, not a discredit, but like, hey, dude, make your mark or don't,
This show was on, what, PBS in the late 90s, 2000s?
He was. We figured that out this past Sunday or Wednesday. We were like, huh?
Yeah, you pulled up a picture. Or was that when we were doing Farscape on Monday?
Was that not yesterday? That might have been Monday.
Or Sunday, maybe it was? I don't know. The 2 days kind of run together because we do back-to-back Sunday, Monday.
David, do you know?
I think it was on Sunday. I think on Sunday you saw it.
I think so.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to be very tired this Sunday, but I'll be there.
The question David asked, though, what would be the name of the next Stargate show? He said, as long as it's not Stargate Academy or Stargate The Next Generation, he's happy.
Well, those have kind of been taken anyway. God, that's kind of a hard question because you want it to be like
Sunday,
reminiscent of old Stargate, which I guess just the name itself, which is that. But you want it to be like kind of tying in the past and the future. What would be a good word for that? Like,
well, just cheating a little bit. If we hadn't taken the name already, because hey, we took it. Y'all got to come buy it off of us if you want it. Stargate Outpost would be really good, I think.
Oh yeah. But, or go with the Stargate, the show they were going to do, Stargate Command.
I think
but that's kind of snoozy. I don't know. Um, I want to say like Rebirth or something, but that's like a Jurassic Park movie or some horror film or something. It wouldn't
All
that,
like the fun little
but
one
something
word.
like that along those lines. I don't, not that word, but I don't know.
I don't mind
Um,
Stargate Command. Stargate. I
yeah.
don't like Stargate Legacy, honestly.
Andromeda.
Stargate Andromeda.
We're gonna
Stargate
have
Legacy just feels like it could be too
Kevin
many.
Sorbo join the cast.
That'd probably be the first thing Sorbo's acted in outside of like a Christian family film in the last 15 years.
He's kind of gone a little off the deep end if you've seen anything from him lately, but whatever.
I try to avoid because he's off the deep end. Him and James Woods are both kind of went off the deep end a little bit. It's like, all right. Stargate Alpha Site would be cool.
That would be cool if that's what you're gonna, if that's gonna be where the base is now. That would be cool to do.
Stargate Alpha or Stargate Alpha Site?
Just Alpha sounds cooler.
It sounds cooler, but also it's, I don't know, the logic in me wants to say Site nonetheless, but
yeah.
Oh, Arnold, Stargate Universe. Ultraverse. I read that wrong. The universe just got bigger.
Ultraverse. Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be fun. That just makes me think of like Ben 10, which Stargate Beyond the Gate. Isn't that already a YouTube show as well?
Yeah.
How about Stargate
of Eternity? Origins. Oh, that's right. We have to watch that. Remember when Matt was on last week? We're like, we're gonna watch that and talk about it. We got
Infinity, right?
Yeah, might as well. So we get,
Stargate
even though it's horrible, just watched it.
Ooh, I really do like Traveler said Stargate Echoes of Eternity or Stargate
I like the Ancients thing, especially if they, if they can tie the Ancients into it. That'd be cool.
That would be good. I do like Echoes of Eternity as well, but that also sounds like it's been. Let's just Google Echoes of Eternity and see what comes up. It's a book.
Okay.
Oh! It's all the Modern Horizon stuff. That's why it's so familiar. It's all
yeah.
There's a bunch of Magic the Gathering stuff on it. I was like, I know I've heard this somewhere. Yeah. Stargate Revolutions. Stargate the Gathering. It's not the worst, honestly, but it also you'd have to think it'd have to be like everybody coming together for like some major villain or something like that. The planet builders aren't good or something.
Yeah.
Stargate Exodus.
War of the Gods is not a bad idea either.
War of the Gods, a show about the War of the Goa'uld system wars starting on Earth, ancient Egypt. That would be great.
A prequel thing, yeah, like how all that went down that gets described in the movie.
Yeah. Oh, it would be. Obviously, we haven't made it that far, and I guess you're almost kind of like watching it for the first time. You said it feels like, but with Farscape, they go Farscape and the Farscape Peacekeeper Wars. It would almost be cool to have that Stargate Shadows of the Ancients lead into like Stargate War of the Gods. As maybe not like directly correlated, but like, okay, the Ancients are leaving, and it sets the stage for what could take over Earth now. And the Goa'uld come in, and we have like those two kind of things.
Yeah. Yep.
That would be really good. But also, David brought up a good point where I do like the Stargate Command. Keep it simple, stupid sometimes, and SG1's title sucks, actually. SG1 is Stargate 1.
Yeah. Just name it after a team.
True.
They're the first team. Of course, they're the best team. But
how about the Free Jaffa? Like,
yeah, there's the Free Jaffa. Like, what's going? There's just so many things. Like, what's up with the Free Jaffa right now? Have they figured out their politics and all of that? Because that was still kind of, they were figuring it out, right? That's why Teal'c was on Chulak, right, or wherever he was like.
Before
trying to help with that. Yeah.
Oh, the separation of the Ori and the Alterans would be a good plot. The Shadows of the Ancients kind of deal.
Right. Yeah.
That's a 1 or 2 episode topic too. That's also true. We honestly, we could just use this as our next Stargate Outpost. Just brainstorm all the different names that would be fun and why they would be named that and kind of how. You down for that?
For our next one?
Yeah, you down?
Yeah. Everybody remember all this. We'll have to like write all these down and like next time. All right. So everybody be brainstorming ideas for our next one.
You have 2 Wednesdays, and then you have to have the craziest ideas possible, y'all. The coolest ideas possible. Sometimes logical, maybe sometimes not, but we'll figure it out.
Then
I'm
maybe
sure
we'll
that won't some rabbit holes at all.
Never any rabbit holes. No.
Oh no! And that next episode will not be completely full of rabbit holes.
Right.
We're gonna look like Swiss cheese. But yeah, it sounds good. Cool.
Yeah, we can do that. At some point, we want to do like favorite scenes from each series, and again, watching, not live stream, but like off camera, watching those other shows, and then coming on and sharing our thoughts about them. And then I guess we'll let you guys know so you guys could watch it too, so we can all be on the same page. But
yeah, and that way we can maybe do a little deep dive on a specific topic or something like that. Yeah. But any ideas we come up with in the studio can't use in case something from here sues them, LOL. They could always pay us. We need to come up with every cool thing possible, so that way they have to pay us.
Then hire a lawyer. And when we
First Stargate Furlingverse would be funny. But this would be good as well. Like obviously SG1, our favorite like scene from SG1, or our favorite SGA SGU scene.
Yeah, I think we just do it as like just favorite scenes of the whole show, not necessarily picking out specific characters, just overall favorite scenes of whatever characters.
Yeah, because I think that might get into a little bit nitty gritty. I think honestly, let's phrase it as, because I don't know if we could pick like one scene and talk about that one scene for the whole outpost. It might be a good thing to say, let's pick the one scene from each show and talk about those for the episode. And afterwards, depending on how fast we talk about that and how many rabbit holes we go down, if we start looking like Swiss cheese, that happens. But if we have plenty of time after that, that's when we can kind of jump in there and give those specific moments.
Yeah.
Because that would be different. I will cheat and go ahead and y'all know my favorite SG1 scene is the Daniel Vala scene. I think overall, it's just it's so much. Just culminated right there.
Yeah.
But my favorite Daniel moment would be him dying and ascending the first time and having Jack right there.
That scene with him and Jack, where they talk about it. And his guilt over. Anyway, I want to save it for what we.
That one gets too good. I shouldn't have even mentioned it just because it just makes us want to jump in. But that would be easy. It's in the middle of my backswing. That's gonna be a fan favorite no matter what. I don't know if it's gonna be any of our specific favorites,
right?
But it might. Mike has nominated already.
It'll get a mention.
Oh yeah. So. Favorite arcs for the main characters. That might be part of that same discussion, or we could do an arc episode at another point, kind of.
Yeah, just our favorite arcs of the different series.
Yes, that would be up there too.
Make us do some homework. And watch all this stuff so we remember. Anyway.
I've got to give a stank face.
Oh God. Oh, I saw like was it Dial the Gate was doing a playthrough of the game? Like I guess a newer updated just come out or something. Not that long ago. He did like a playthrough.
You know what? I'm gonna take a the approach the companion takes on this one, and care for my mental health and avoid the hell out of Stargate Timekeepers. It's so bad that oh my god, I could literally. You want to have a Stargate Outpost episode, Sarah? If you're not available for a week at any point, that'll be our just keep it in the in the hat. You know, whenever we need to take it out of the hat, we will have me just rant about Stargate Timekeepers for 2 hours.
Right.
Because it is possible. To a degree.
Right.
It
Hopefully
is online.
it's gotten better, but I don't know how much. But I'm never gonna play it because I just don't have time for doing that kind of stuff. I wish I did, but
so bad. And the fact they want to charge people $25 for a game that should be maybe 99 cents, more realistically, free 99 on a cell phone app store and not Steam, and charging people $20 to $25. If that's the way that they're planning to play Stargate, don't you put this stuff behind a paywall and give us shite, you know?
Yeah.
We have standards, and we want Stargate to meet those standards. Simple as that. But anyway. There was a film on TV the other day, Battle Star Wars, LOL. Let's just have everything in the title. It works.
Yeah. It's like sometimes you see those posters or whatever. Like I have this one that I printed out and I have it stuck in the binder I used for my anyway, it doesn't matter. And it's like it says like Star Wars, and then it has a picture of the Firefly cast.
Ooh.
In the original series Star Trek uniforms. It's great. It's really funny.
I guess it could still just be Fire Star Trek or Fire Star Wars, and it works either way.
Yeah.
Or Star Wars Fly, Star Trek Fly,
Star Trek Fly,
Starfly. Hey,
Starfly Wars. There we go.
Hey, Starfly Wars.
Yeah.
Or the Starfly Trek. Maybe the Starfly is a ship like the Firefly, and it is on its first trek. Okay, we're gonna just start saying random things. We're gonna get delirious at a certain point and just It should be free though. Judging from the comments, they should pay you to play Stargate Timekeepers. They should. They would not be very happy with what I say about their game, but it would probably be the most entertaining person they could have do it. Because I don't think anybody does that and is like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a really good shot here, guys. We're gonna move it over here. Pew 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 pew. There's not like an animated playthrough of Stargate Timekeepers. I probably still have the most animated playthrough, and it's because I was pissed off the entire time.
No, I remember I watched it when you were like played it. I jumped on for a bit, and you were getting so frustrated.
It's not even like okay, go do the same thing over again until you get it right. Go do the same thing over again until you get it right. That's not even it. It was just so dull and annoying, and that on top of it. I don't know if I changed it to a Trek thing yet, but it still should be G cubed. If you find G cubed, there is a version of me. There's a version of me. There's a video of me doing it on there and having that live feed playing the game. Yeah, I'm not gonna forget that day for a while. I don't know if I will ever. That one sits with me. I remember that day the game was streamed.
Yeah, that was before I was on the channel, which I think I've been doing this now for almost a year, right?
It has to be close, because the first time was the charity for the not the wildfires,
right? Well, you invited me on just to kind of say hi, and then I came on when we were selecting like the best and worst SG1, I think.
Yeah, before
then there was kind of like a gap, and then in the fall we actually got it rolling, I think.
Yeah, because you were able to stay on the big stream for a long time. At that point, we were like, well, you want to just come do this whenever? And you're like, sure. Here we are. 17 Stargate Outpost episodes later.
Yep.
Which, yeah, that's technically 36 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or
34.
34? Okay.
34, yeah.
Math was close.
That's
what the chat's for. They're backup. I watched 40 minutes and left frustrated. See, I wasn't the only one. Was it my frustration that made you frustrated, or was it the game making you frustrated?
I couldn't even tell. It was just anyway. It was just like looked really bad. So I was like, yeah, I'm not even. Not that I would have anyway, but.
Well, I hope the update actually made it playable, but nonetheless, if you're going to update to make a game playable almost a year after it comes out, maybe even more than a year after it comes out, and still charge $20-$25 for it,
yeah,
instead of saying, hey, we didn't do it right, so in that case, we want more people to play our game, and because we're saying sorry that we didn't do it right at first, here, it's $5 or free, whatever. Maybe it's free for 2 months, or hey, this is Stargate SG1's anniversary month or something. It's free, whatever it is.
Right. Yeah.
Put it behind a paywall a paywall to play that just isn't worth it.
In-app purchases.
Yeah. Over and over.
But nobody would do anything. Maybe they're just hoping like us, Gators will buy it just because it's a Stargate something and they want to own everything Stargate.
I think that's what they're banking on. Which to devil's advocate a bit, is not a good strategy to make money. If I don't think it's Amazon making the game, it's I forget what the I'm late, but if you say anyone besides Todd, you're just wrong. Don't worry, Todd
said Todd. Yeah,
Todd won.
Yep.
Zigzag Zarf. I love that name.
I gotta jump off for a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, we're about 2.5 hours in too. We might call it a day here in a second as well. I kind of lost the track what I was saying there for a second, y'all. We were talking about the paywall behind it. Yeah, if they're gonna, I think it's just too little, too late for them to actually make the game playable, and still charge the amount they're charging for it. It just, But Monk was saying, Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow, he saw yesterday, pleasantly surprised by it. Have you guys seen it? You like the cinematography? Sky Captain, I feel like I know the name of that. I don't think I've seen it. 2004. Oh, this is Angelina Jolie with the eye patch. Who the hell else is that? Jude Law? And is that Gwyneth Paltrow? I have not seen this movie. I've seen Angelina Jolie with her little eye patch on, but I guess I haven't seen the film itself. I'm gonna check that out. That sounds fun. Good movie. Could have had spin-offs in the same world. Love the retro look. Huh. Oh, thank you, Mike. That's what I was saying. Probs get the game out, make money, pay bills, and update the game. See, that's still, if you're trying to make money off the game, that is not the way to do it. If you're trying to have your fan base happy, that's not the way to do it. Angelina Jolie, Laurence Olivier, or Lawrence Oliver. I don't know why I said Olivier. As much as I hate it, I don't really, I guess, hate Fortnite, but as much as it is annoying sometimes, Fortnite doing a Stargate season would be amazing. And whenever they do bring Stargate back, they have to. Like they have to. They need to go do that, not just for Fortnite. They need to do that for Call of Duty. They need to do it for Apex Legends. If they could find a way to do Marvel Rivals, yes. All of those big games like that, they have to kind of try to jump into to some degree. But okay, to get back, you're glowing. But to get back to the same thought I was just thinking, because it took me a second to remember what the thought was. Oh my god, did I just say that and it just threw out of my head again? Okay, no. Okay, so that's what I was saying. The money making aspect of timekeepers. If they wanted to make money off of it, that's not how they should have released it. If they wanted to ingratiate the fan base to a new game, that's not the way to do it. Nothing they have shown or done has been good for the fans or has been good for making money on the IP of Stargate. That being said, and I don't think this is the case, but if Amazon at least has access to the metadata of all of the timekeeper stuff,
right,
that would immediately give them a basis of this is the audience that will buy anything and everything Stargate immediately. This is our true core of the core audience are what buys Stargate timekeepers. That would at least let them have like a gauge in that sense. I don't think that's why they did timekeepers the way they did. I think it was just really stupid. Every way they approached it, essentially. Sorry, but it is. It just was not designed to make money, and it was not designed to be a good game either. That being said, it could have been designed for metadata. But it's not Amazon Prime or Amazon or MGM even making the game, so I don't think that was the case either. Which makes it a big giant case of miscommunication. Surprise! Death by committee. That tends to be what happens, and I really hope that doesn't block Stargate from actually happening, because that's kind of what's been happening as of late. Don't you find it ironic? Sorry.
Who makes Timekeeper? It's on. Okay. I was just trying to see the developers. Oh, Creative Forge Games and something else. Anyway, doesn't matter. Sorry, sidetracked.
Was it? Yeah, Creative Forge Games and Slytherin Software. I remember the Slytherin. Okay. Yeah, and I don't think either one of those are Amazon owned or anything like that. There we go. Thank you, Trevor. They pay to license. I see. Which, if you're paying to license, that should be like. And I guess they did add some things, like isn't Jennifer? I got it's been a year or something, but like Jennifer Haley's in there, I believe, and there are some like correlative things, but it's soulless. That's all. Right. David said, Harris, don't you find it ironic that you want a Stargate game that's all bang bang a bit like TikTok and not have a game that makes you think? When did I say that? Tell me once when I said that. I want a Stargate open world game like Oblivion or Skyrim or Red Dead Redemption or Mass Effect. The Mass Effect games are what we need to go off of for Stargate.
Right.
Screw all the bang bang shoot. Now, if Fortnite is or Call
you could have that.
Because who was it, Monk or was it Modest Traveler saying that? Yeah, Traveler said Fortnite should do a Stargate season. Which yes, I don't think. Yeah, I think it's just good marketing. I don't think they should make a full game in that same vein. Stargate Timekeepers made by Voldemort, the Slytherin. yeah. But yeah, open world would be amazing. The point shoot that works very well for marketing to put in other games. Hey, have a Call of Duty skin that is Jack O'Neill. Or have two Call of Duty skins. One is RDA Jack O'Neill and one's Kurt Russell Jack O'Neill. And then you get to kind of like, that'd be really cool.
Or one clone Jack O'Neill. You got the younger clone.
Actually, you know what would be more do that in Call of Duty. And for Fortnite, have Teal'c run around with a giant staff weapon.
Oh yeah. That'd be cool.
It'd be great. It'd be great. A little Zap gun to switch back to. And if you shot someone 3 times immediately, get them out. That'd be really cool. Like if you have some fun little elements like that, not only would that be good, it would be good marketing. It'd be fun for the games on hand. It'd be good marketing. Hey, we will give them ideas if it involves Stargate.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's really cool. I mean, you can, because you can travel to all these different places and create all these different. I mean, it's like there's so much you could do to make it interesting and fun, and You can
And
constantly
Fortnite-
expand it.
Yeah, Fortnite at least, because they have the almost a Ready Player One aspect of the way that game works and operates now, which is insane to me. But you could have like the Stargate bring you to different maps or worlds to fight on or something like that too, which would be so cool. You want a newish blend of GoldenEye and Stargate with better graphics? I'm in. Yeah, please, any day. But all that being said, it took until Sarah came back for the thought to actually finish for the timekeeper thing, because we get a little distracted and go through the comments a bit. But yeah, that is, I think, 2.5 hours of solid Stargate talk, yo. We trailed down some rabbit holes. But they were good ones.
As always.
Mike, Stargate could bring new maps? All Canadian woods?
Yeah.
Touche. That's too good. But yeah, I think that's kind of all for us today. Anything else on our housekeeping, our laundry list?
We remembered the name.
I haven't been waiting 2 hours and 37 minutes and 29 seconds just to see if I remember that or not. I don't know. What?
I guess we're just doing a show on Sunday, right? And
yes. I don't believe Radical
in
Wasteland.
2 weeks we're gonna talk about I don't know what Stargate should be named, what it should look like when it comes back. That kind of vein.
That would be a fun one to do just before we jump into all the different favorite characters and scenes and all those kind of things.
Yeah. Right.
You said it's slow and boring, and when you were playing it, you got too frustrated not digging deep enough to take it all in. I was reading it all. It wasn't the lore that was frustrating. It was the playing aspect.
It was boring watching it.
Yeah.
And I could tell you, and I was like, I quit like watching the stream because it was like,
there was nothing.
It wasn't you, Harris. It was just the game. So I was just like, I don't care about this.
Game was legitimately 2005 Warcraft, but Stargate. It felt like a game that any of us could have played on a computer 20 years ago. And I'm not a full decade above that age range either, and it still feels like a game I would have played 20 years ago. But yeah,
I gotta go pick up my daughter. So
they're doing well. But yeah. All the Canadian wood maps will be perfect for Fortnite and Call of Duty, and give us an open world game, please, MGM. But yeah, that is our laundry list and housekeeping. We will see you Sunday and Monday. We'll figure it out Mondays here soon because we might have a couple Saturdays.
Oh, we're gonna have to do Tuesday.
Oh, that's right. This is coming as Tuesday. Thank you.
Yeah.
Glad I said that. I was like, there's something.
Yeah.
The game is not a spectator sport. It's a solo playing game.
Yeah.
You still got to make it entertaining for a solo player.
It's like there's a lot of other games out there that are fun to play.
Yeah, I respect myself enough not to waste my time for that. Now, yes, we will go watch shows like Superman or something like that where we're not 1,000% interested, but to sit there and play like a 40-hour game is grueling. But hopefully we weren't grueling today and brought you down some fun rabbit holes on this wonderful Stargate Outpost. Did I rope that in well? I tried. Fishing. I'm tripping. We're reeling in. But we are 2 hours, 40 minutes into this puppy. And
I think that
we always go. Time to stop barking. Did that work for that metaphor? Did I say that metaphor before the show or after? Because that probably just made no sense.
I think it was before.
I think so too. Everyone's probably like, what the hell is he saying? Any second downstairs, Cam's going to show a spinning chair. She runs out. Hey, if Timekeeper props on, everyone's chairs are doing that. But that is it for us. Before we jump out of here.
Yep. Sorry, I'm crashing into things.
It's so much more fun to crash into things. Hey, anything's more or less crashy than me trying to, or less crashy than my freaking computer earlier. I was thinking the Chevron Awards, me trying to grab every hat in every 2 seconds and then just not having everything. But that is it from us. Finally, I think we've got our goofing out at the end.
Mm-hmm.
See y'all. Adios. Go watch some Stargate.